What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we put the real in reality or whatever.
Period, mama.
I'm your host, Pharaoh. We're joined by our wonderful co-host, Lee Baby. We are on week 4. Big Brother 5.
4 of 5, mama.
1, 2, 3, 4. Who are we? Speaking Spanish.
I'm
you're just you.
Estefania.
Bye. How are you feeling about it?
Lee Stefania.
I'm not gonna play with you.
Lee Stefania. Ooh.
I kind of like Lee Stefania.
I believe in dreaming, shooting from the stars, ready to be number one. You got to raise the bar, kicking and the scratching, grinding out my bed. Anything it takes to climb the ladder of success.
Period. But yes, how are you feeling about this week, bye, for you?
I'm feeling good about this week. So this week, the feeds are actually really, really interesting. Like, now that the girls have taken control of the game, the girls and the gay have taken control of the game has gotten interesting, okay? The girls are feeling themselves. They're coming up with plans. They're coming up with strategies, mama. There are some secret alliances comparing themselves to Danielle and Jason. Y'all, why did Karen and Will sit their happy asses up in them goddamn feeds?
Lee, don't do this.
That they're equal to Danielle and Jason, maybe even better. Baby, y'all secret alliance ain't even made the episode yet, girl.
Who even are y'all?
No shade.
It's not even giving. Like, if anybody is comparable, it's honestly Diane and Drew. It's not even y'all. Y'all not even the head comparison on the season.
Not even the head duo in charge.
Y'all not even the head duo in charge.
And they're messy, and we're gonna get into that messiness. Okay, Will and Karen are not to be trusted. Specifically, Will.
You know what it kind of gives? It kind of gives like Sari in that back room, except with zero power and zero ability to do it. Because the way they switch their mind every 5, Will and Karen have a new plan every 10 minutes, and it's something totally
and it's
different.
something that's never gonna happen.
And it's never gonna happen.
Never gonna get it.
Never gonna get it. Child, DM Rock says, "Hey,
I love when they do that."
Did you see the leaked rumor people for the traitors?
Portia Williams from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Bitch, I'm seated for her. Candace Monet exchange from Drag Race.
Monet.
Natalie from Survivor, bitch. Jam 2. Rob Sesternino.
I'm here for Rob. That's my man. My man.
himself. I know that's right. And
yeah, I don't even know who that one is.
Tiffany
Queen Mother Mitchell.
Mitchell, bitch. Okay, because this is a Big Brother rewind. Okay,
this is a Big Brother rewind.
It's Ian and Tiffany are the only Big Brother contestants announced so far. Now the rumors were saying Xavier would be there, but he just tweeted on Twitter, so I guess that's not the case. Ian, since this is the Big Brother rewind, I'll talk about them a little bit. Ian, not excited for. No shade. I watched BB14 recently, actually, and I will forever stand by the opinion that Dr. Will should have, not Dr. Will,
Woo!
and Giesling should have won that season. I feel like Ian won because the jury infantilized him and they were mad at Dan. Sorry. And in 22, he came in there with the okie doke, following up behind Cody and them. It was so obvious that he wasn't in that main alliance. Nicole was literally puppeteering him around that entire house. Then he figured out the twist because of a fucking wall yeller. And then as soon as they won HOH, she went back into being a scary little bitch. And then he had the audacity, the nerve, the gall to blame Davon, David, and Kevin as the reason as to why he went home. They're the reason why he went home and not the people who were using him since the beginning of the game. Weird. I don't like him. I'm not a fan of Ian. I never really have been. That personality archetype really is never my fave. It just, I don't love it. I don't like anyone that gets infantilized by the media, by the house. I'm sorry. I really don't get how he's so popular. Maybe that's unpopular opinion for me. I'm sorry to any Ian stands out there. The only thing I like about him is that he's a Pisces, because I'm a Pisces too.
Period. Yeah, that's Ian's a no for me. Ian's a top for me. Never really loved him. He was somewhat endearing in BB14 at least. BB22 he had nothing. Like and I feel like BB22 was an example of why he was a flop in BB14, which I used to have to. That was the opinion I had. He was never a good player. People saw him as like a good player. That's what threw me. I was like, okay, I get if you like Ian. He is in a way an underdog. So I let people like him for that. But when they started saying he was a good player, I was like, where the fuck are we at? The Twilight Zone?
The Twilight Zone, girl. Because it definitely, he has some really interesting qualities, and every winner definitely, I feel like, deserves to win their season to a certain extent. Right. But do I think he's a great player? No, he would definitely be low on my overall winner rank. I think he actually is on our overall winner rank. So there's that. And then, of course, Tiffany for the motherfucking Mitchell. I hope they make Tiffany a traitor because I want her to be the star of the show. I want Monet and Tiffany to be traitors together so we can run back to Danielle and Bob of it all, okay? And Tiffany, she's going to eat. Period. Like, Tiffany has an elite social game. These people do not know Tiffany like that. I would assume they're saying Jam Jam is there, Natalie is there. They're saying Nicole may be on the cast. That's 3 winners right there. I think who else won that's on there? Jam won. Monet won Drag Race, bitch. Like, there are winners here. Tiffany, she, I think, is going to come in underestimated. And if she's a traitor, she can eat it up. Okay? It's going to be good. And like I said, they were also saying Nicole is going to be there. So, Nicole's going to eat up Ian again. Girl. Nicole would eat up the traitors. If Nicole Frangel is there, we need Nicole Frangel as a traitor. Nicole will win the game. I hope production realizes that Nicole is a traitor. Yeah,
Nicole is a traitor. Production is usually very good at knowing, I will say. Surprisingly good. To the point where it's like, y'all are literally stands. They're stands. They're stands. They know exactly what they're fucked. They've never got it wrong with the traitors. They've never incorrectly chosen the traitors. So I don't expect them to start now. And I expect them to choose the right ones again, which will be Tiffany. Nicole, I assume it might be a Survivor one again. Because they always do a Big Brother one, a Survivor one, and then kind of a random. So I kind of am assuming that will occur, but
it's gonna be Natalie, Monet, and Tiffany Mitchell, or Natalie, Monet, and Nicole type shit. I don't know, girl. Nicole finna Carolyn the fuck out of them and get them both out. And that's the thing. If you are a traitor and you're working with Nicole, get her up out of there because Nicole will sell you under the butt, girl. Nicole. And if Davon is on there, girl, Davon, because they said Davon may be there. Davon, you better not trust that lady again. You better not.
Davon would never dare. Davon would never. You better not.
This comment though, Kayla Deshay says, "Portia, I'm worried about. Remember when she thought the Underground Railroad was a real train?
Oh my God!
She thought it
somebody
was a real train that went underground. She said, how did the train fit under there?
That's not even a good question." Somebody said she's finna make Sheree look like Albert Einstein, and I hope not because Sheree was looking like a fool. I know Portia's not finna go in there and look like a fool.
I just showed you the season 9 or 10. I just showed you the reunion with the whole allegations against Candy. If
that would be unfortunate.
Some shit like that. Imagine what would happen with her and the goddamn traitors.
Why is she so? Well, I'm excited though. I'm always excited for the traitors. The traitors is just a fun concept.
I'm more excited about this cast off of initial reactions than I was last season, though. That's why I'm really, really excited. What? I am way more excited about this cast than I was last season so far.
I can see that. Honestly, I agree with that. I do agree with that. And I don't think necessarily neither of these casts are touching season 2. Because, once again, where's Tiffany New York Pollard?
She's getting cast for the House of Villains for the 15th time. She's probably in contract with E! News for years. But I think that's associated with Bravo and Peacock. So
She said she has not got in contact. She has came out
Why would you not contact Tiffany New York motherfucking Pollard? They're not y'all can cast, y'all know shit. Y'all can cast Rob Sessionino from Listening in the Stands. But you can't get Tiffany New York Pollard? Hello? Celebrity Big Brother did the same exact thing. U.S. Celebrity Big Brother?
Yeah.
Why are y'all not calling Tiffany New York Pollard?
She's cold.
Why are y'all not calling Natalie Nunn?
Call Natalie Nunn. And Tiffany.
Somebody gotta call Natalie Nunn for something, please.
Please. I'm begging you. But yes, girl. We're here to talk about Big Brother. Well, we were kind of. But now we're really talking about Big Brother. Big Brother 5.
If you're a fan of Big Brother, I would assume you've watched The Try Us at least once.
The Try Us is good.
The Try Us is good. If you haven't watched The Try Us and you're listening to this podcast, go watch The Try Us. You have some good Big Brother people over there. Dan was on there. Danielle was on there. Cody was on the first season. A few people was over there.
Janelle was on there. Rachel was on there.
Brittany, Rachel. They was all on there.
They got some BB icons. Some BB icons have been on there. Honestly, just listen to our podcast of us discussing the seasons because, baby, we've done it for every season. Have we? Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
So get into it, baby.
I think is that one of the only shows that's been like a franchise that we've started since season 1.
Since season 1, yeah.
Yeah,
because everything else is old.
Yeah, everything else is recovering. We didn't start with, or if we did start with it, it's not a franchise. It's already canceled. That's the only one that we started with, and it's still going to this day, and it's
still going on. And it's huge. Ooh, and that eats. Get into that, y'all. But yes, Big Brother 5. This week was fun. This week was fun on the feed specifically. Like the season, because of the structure of the season is just simple. But I love that we're finally getting some intricacies with the strategy because, baby, it was giving nothing.
It's because the people who are the smartest in the house are now safe, so they feel comfortable trying to come up with shit.
Exactly.
That's why I'm really intrigued by what Will and Karen is doing because, woo, child, it's messy.
It's a lot. Okay, let me pull it up. Let's get into the motherfucking week or whatever, period. Now, of course, why the fuck is it just me? That just pissed me off.
Yeah, you hate me. JB says, I know y'all would have gagged watching Diane win HOH Live. Hell yeah.
No, not out, y'all. Why am I big? Why am I big? Oh my fucking
even the updaters, the people who were updating the feeds were gagging.
They were.
Like, yes, Diane won.
They wanted Jase to lose so bad as they should, and they wanted Diane to win so bad as they should. Period. But no, honestly, this is the longest competition in Big Brother history at this moment. It was a really fun endurance comp. I wish they would bring back endurance comps like this, just like lean onto a button and stand there. Like all of the hanging from shit. Like I'm so happy that this 26 showed people that we can get interesting competitions that don't have to involve overly physical competitions. But I would love if they pumped more endurance comps in, like just stand there, just hold on to this, or like a veto where you sit in the box, who can stay in the box the longest, shit like that. Like bring back those type of competitions because that would be so fun to watch, to sit up on feeds and watch this gruesome type of competition. You know what I mean? Or like remember the one that Jessica won, which you hold the hand up to the thing. Bring back those type of endurance, or the one that Devon almost won by having her hand up in the air. That is the endurance comps I want to see. I don't care about the wall every single time. I agree. I was gonna say BB26. The thing I didn't love about it is because even though they made equitable comps, they like majority leaned on mental comps. It was like so many of them, and
no shame.
I still like a mixture of comps. Like I like a mixture, and I feel like they only leaned on mental because they don't know how to do equitable non-mental comps. And I just find that silly. I just find that silly and stupid. Like I don't mind the mental comps, but I just feel like I want a mixture. I still want it to be a variety. And Rudy reminded me, BB26 did have a long endurance comp. They just didn't show it on feeds. I totally forgot that even happened. Leah won the one that Jessica Graff won.
Oh my God. It's
I totally forgot.
Exact same one.
I totally forgot.
Reminding us of that. It's because it wasn't on fucking. That's so stupid. It's the exact same competition.
Yeah. I love that competition too.
Can I stop trying to make them live outside, please?
Please. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't even gagged with the 24 one. I wasn't that gagged.
Kind of gagged, but we couldn't see any of outside. Remember, it was stupid.
Yeah, I wasn't that gagged. Well, and I think like the twist alone, I wasn't confident about. I was scared about the twist. Sometimes these twists can fuck up the way the game is going, and I don't usually love that in a bad way, like in a way of, oh, we're about to steamroll. I don't love that. That gets scary. But also, we don't even get to see them. Like they're just outside. We don't get to see them on the feeds. I think those weeks, that twist is prioritizing casuals. They're like, we need to give something fun and janky for the casuals, the little toddlers who are watching Janky World, janky, janky. Like that shit's not fucking cute. Why do they think their audience is 5-year-olds?
I have no idea.
What the fuck is that about? What a part of their demographic is telling them that there's 5-year-olds watching? Like what the fuck? Like what is this, Coco Melon?
It's a family show.
Right, so everybody in the family, not just 5-year-olds, and the 5-year-olds aren't paying attention. Like, why is it? I just don't get it. I don't get that at all. But hey, we move.
Maybe
shout out to Diane
get
though.
The kids in on it, then the parents will watch.
But like, this isn't. What is this? Nickelodeon?
I don't know.
I
I'm
can't.
trying to make sense of it.
It's giving the Nickelodeon slime, and when they would do those little the lights on the fucking floor.
Oh my god, I used to love that show. Oh my god. Oh my god, I used to watch it every day after school.
They're just trying to get they little kids' brains heightened when they see the colors and shit. So that's that. But shout out to Diane. She won the longest motherfucking competition in Big Brother history. This long ass endurance competition. This is very much so the building the origins to Pressure Cooker for sure, because this happens this season and Pressure Cooker happens next season, literally for the first time. And I feel like this is really the OG version of that. They're like, this is the
Pressure Cooker last
11 hours. I want to say it's really long. It was 1 minute longer than the BB25 Pressure Cooker is how long it lasted. So it was like they both were the longest two. I want to say were 11 or so hours, but this was only 9.5 hours. Still very long. Still same concept. Love this concept. Do this every motherfucking year. Period. So yes, she wins HOH. She decides, of course, to nominate Jase and Scott. We see throughout the week that Jase wins the power of veto. He uses it on himself. And Diane
almost 14 hours.
14 is what it was, not 11.
That's crazy.
It was 14 both times, or damn near 14 both times. And she renominates Marvin. So the final nominees are Scott and Marvin, honey. I saw somebody in the chat said, why was it so close, baby? We'll get into the tea on that, honey, because this vote
was crazy. And you would think it would be straightforward as fuck. No, these people are all over the place. And it's literally because they have so much power now. They don't know what to do with it. They're like, we could do this, we could do this. Girl, calm down and make the easiest decision. I hate when a choice is so simple. Like Jessica BB19 when she won HOH. Oh, let me not put up Paul or anyone in that alliance. Let me put up Ramses and Josh. And I'm going to take out Josh. And they're not going to take out Ramses, even though no one likes him and they don't give a fuck about me. No, they're going to listen to me and take out Josh, even though Josh has friends and is being ran. Girl, just do the easy decision. Girl, I hate that. Like, sometimes it is just that simple.
Really, truly. But we move. The girls and the gays finally get the HOH room. They finally have power. So they're able to talk about who the fuck they want to nominate. And Diane immediately knows she wants Jase gone. Jase is her target, but she's not sure that she wants to renom Scott. She's not sure about that. She doesn't think she wants to at first. And then eventually she's like, well, fuck it. I got to do it. I got to just put up Scott and Jase and we'll move forward with that. Yeah. So that's what the fuck she does. Period.
It was so interesting because Jase was in the HOH telling Diane, oh, you should drop. I'm going to make a big surprising move. I want to get even. And then after he told Will that he was going to put up Scott. Now, I don't know if I believe him, but he did leave a weird ass message for us.
He drug him in the
goodbye message. So I'm just like, were you actually thinking about doing that? Because Jase seemed a little crazy. I feel like that's some shit Jase would do. No shame.
Jase has made the comments on the feeds. That he actually does not like Scott as a person that much at all. He's mentioned that Marvin is someone that he actually appreciates as a person. He said that in his eviction speech when he was deliberating. He said, I actually like Marvin as a person. I don't like Scott as a person. Scott isn't a good person to me. And he's mentioned that here and there. And then, of course, what Lee is saying, like he's claiming he would nominate him. So you never really know, but he claims he doesn't really like Scott that much.
I mean, it's been a lot of bad mouthing. And someone asked in the chat, was it true that Jase was over him? I think so, specifically with the whole Holly thing, which is why Drew was so on wanting Holly to go, because Scott had a crush on Holly and he was jealous of Jase and Holly. And he basically admitted that. And I think Jase clocked that. Scott had a lot of weird tendencies and Jase just really didn't like them. Like, I don't like this whole 4 Horsemen Alliance was really just truly bullshit. Because I was reading ahead a little bit. Drew was telling Cowboy, oh yeah, Jase is going home and the alliance is dead. They don't give a fuck about this. Like, that shit was never really fully real. They just didn't want to work with any of the women. That's what it gives.
Yep, it does give that, which is unfortunate. But it wasn't giving friends at all. But hey, they're here. They're working. They're on the same side.
Allison and June
of it all. Diane goes to Scott because she doesn't want to nominate him, and they kind of have that conversation. And this is when we see on the episode Scott go to the boys and say, yeah, Diane told me if we win the veto, she putting up Marvin. She did not say that, but He was not
Scott believes every time he has a conversation with somebody, they're on his side. He did that with Karen on the feeds. He's done that with Adria on the feeds. That's why they're always so wishy-washy, because Scott has one conversation and think, yeah, I convinced them. Now they think this. Scott think he motherfucking, I don't even know who. Bitch.
You know what's weird about Scott? We saw him talking to Julie, and when we were watching, we were like, damn, that PR is crazy, because he sounds like a whole nother nigga. I genuinely think Scott was living his best life in this house. I think he came in this house and he said, I'm going to do everything that I couldn't do when I was in real life. Like, I'm a nerd. I'm lame as fuck. I don't have any money. I'm poor. I'm broke. I don't have a job. I don't have friends. I don't have a car. I don't have a boat. All the things he lied about. I felt like he said, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to play this person who actually is what I want to be. This was who Scott wishes he was. Yeah. And in real life, when he goes back, he's not
a washed up Playgirl model. That's what he is in real life.
Oh my God.
He probably did that Playgirl photo shoot to get him a medium-sized piece of it. Like,
I literally think so. I literally think it was giving medium-sized pizza, and he didn't get a job after that. And he's like, he's not this nigga. He's not this. Well, he's not that at all. But he's not this person that he is trying to portray. I think Jase is just Jase. I think Jase is Jase.
He is.
I think Scott is pretending to be everything that he is, honestly, truly, which is kind of scary, very scary. But we move, because and he even has like vulnerable moments on the feeds. Like, I want to say it was this week on the feeds, he was talking and he admitted to Cowboy. He admitted to someone randomly admitted, he was like, yeah, girl, I actually be lying about all the stuff I say. I actually am.
I think it was Cowboy.
He was like, yeah, I'm actually a brokey and I'm actually a liar. And honestly, I'm not cool and I'm lame. And yeah, I don't have any of this. It's like he has these weird moments of like, I guess, vulnerability.
Yeah.
Where he's like being genuine about the fact that he is not what he's claiming to be in this house. It's just, he's a weird person. I've never seen someone in the house like him. He's like, what are you? It scared me when he was talking to Julie in that way. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Who the fuck?
But anyways. Boom. Diane nommed Scott and Jase. We get to the veto competition, of course. They have these piggies. I love this little decorated animals for the comp. I love this.
It's cute.
So they have these piggies and everyone has 10 coins. And I love this competition. I really do. I think it could still work in a modern day season. This is a way to do an equitable comp in a modern day season, because I think something like this could kind of still work. It could be gamed, and that's the issue. But
I'm not gonna lie, I was confused, so I had tuned out.
That's why it could work. I'm telling you, that's why it could work. But essentially, all the 6 players have 10 coins. You can give your coins to whoever you want. The goal is to have the most coins in your piggy without going over 20. So whoever gets closest to 20 but doesn't go over wins. And I think the reason that this kind of works is because you don't know what's in their bucket. So let's say I'm Diane, and using this season, for example, Diane doesn't want Jase to win. So she could either make sure he goes over 20 or make sure he's not the closest. But it's hard because in her mind, she's like, if I try to make him go over 20 and I give him all of mine, it could get him right close to 20 and then he can win the veto. And we see this comp comes back again in more seasons, and it kind of always ends up the same, where the person you don't want to win veto has a good chance because everyone's not sure what they can do with their coins and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yes, very, very good. Oh yeah, they did this comp in season 6, JB says. So it's a very cute one.
They also said Brendan did some Playgirl stuff too.
Brendan Villegas?
What is that tea?
I would love that tea. You know what's interesting about him? He doesn't seem like he would. So I want to see that. You got a picture?
I did find a picture.
Send that to me right now. What is? You like it?
Is this a nude? Oh my god!
You like it?
I love it.
Say louder.
For the bitches in the podcast. That is crazy. That's not.
I'll find it because you're not sending it fast enough.
I did send it.
Oh, okay. I find Brendan to be very attractive.
Ooh, that is
oh!
Crazy.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh! Oh God!
It's a mouthful.
Oh my God! I don't even know what to do. I'm not.
Wow.
Surprised. I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all. I get it, Rachel, girl. No one's coming between me and my man. Yeah, bitch. Yep. No one.
Scott could never.
Hey, listen, let me go to Google Chat.
But yes, I'm getting a little hot.
Girl, I can't see you.
Hold on, I need some. Hold on. But yes, Jase ends up winning the power veto naturally. Boo. Honestly, I kind of need the drama.
No,
without this
in the chat too, I can see why he's on All Stars. Definitely, he is the most interesting one out of them. Like the Three Stooges, none of them were interesting enough for me. Jase,
I agree.
Is actually very interesting.
Very interesting. I actually like him. Like, I kind of like him. Like, I kind of don't hate him. Usually, I kind of hate the boy. And nah. I don't hate Jase. Jase is kind of like, he's just Jase. Don't love him.
Redeemable qualities. When he get around his bros, he a weirdo.
He is, but I think, and this gonna sound crazy, he's like one of the least weirdos of the weirdos. Like Scott and Cowboy are weirder than Jase. Like they're way and Marvin, like they're weirder than Jase. Jase kind of like doesn't necessarily agree with a lot of the weird shit they say. But he's weird too, but just in a lesser degree. Like he's really the most redeemable one, and then Drew's not really with him. You know,
Drew don't give a fuck about them bitches, and that's why Drew. I get Drew. I gotta put some respect on Drew's name. Drew is way more intentional, bitch, than I feel like your average motherfucking Joe in this position, which is terrifying because they're handing him this position and he's still eating them up like on 10. It's crazy, girl. When I read that, he told Cowboy, he said, "Look, Cowboy, that alliance is dead. I don't know what to tell you. It's over. Jason's going home this week." And Cowboy was like, "Can I still stick with you?" He said, "Sure." Yeah.
Tag along.
Especially what happens this week. Like, this nigga is messy and he don't give a damn about Diane. We're going to talk about that now.
And don't
give a damn. There are so many commentary from people on the feeds of them talking about how they don't like each other. They're like, Drew gonna get out the house. He gonna change his phone, his email, all of this, bitch. Why is everyone talking? Even the people on the feeds know. They're like, Diana's getting all these red flags and she ain't doing nothing about it.
The people in the house knows.
Girl. I had to screenshot this update. Diane and Drew having a long conversation about how Drew has a girl back home who isn't actual girlfriend, but someone he dated before the show and might date again after the show. He said it to her face. And Diane is like, this entire time, even after this, you're so smart.
Drew.
I'm so not smart. Like, she tries to give no shade. You listen to Love Island, baby girl. Like, you're just such a man, Drew. You're so smarter than me. Like, you're so beautiful. Da, 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 da. And it's like, after this, they had a fight or whatever. Or not a fight, but they had like a little tiff. They still cuddled that night. They woke up. They acted like they wasn't cool. And then later that night, they were back in the same bed again.
They sleep together.
Diane, get the fuck up.
She needs to stand the fuck up, and she never will. It's very unfortunate and it's just very sad. He doesn't even. It's like one of those situations. It feels like Love Island. It's one of those situations where the boy is giving her the bare minimum, and she's on her knees crawling and throwing up every time they have a conversation. And people like the people in feeds, they're kind of describing it like Janae and Kenny from Love Island. I know some of y'all don't know Love Island. Sorry, but it's like he's just a demure boy. He doesn't talk a lot and da da da. But every single conversation, he's not saying shit unless he has an agenda. When he has an agenda, when he's trying to convince her, because after this, the boys have agreed that since Jase won veto, Jase is going to veto himself, and they're going to try to convince Diane to put up Marvin. So that's the new goal. And we see after this, now when Drew talks to Diane, he has an agenda. So he now can speak. And now he can say, yeah, I mean, and you know, Marvin, I don't know about him. And whole time, every other conversation, he's quiet. He doesn't say shit.
And literally, and she tells him, I won't say she tells him a lot, but she's always like, we should work together and we could be a good duo, and like always trying to talk game. And she does slip up on some things, not a lot, but some things. He doesn't give her anything. And it's so crazy because once again, when I read a little bit ahead, after Nakomis won her HOH, he starts telling her everything.
Yep.
Everything, because he now knows the alliance is dead. But isn't that even more gagging? Because remember you said he's upset when the horsemen go home. You know, act like he upset.
You're going to work, baby.
Having a diary room about, damn, this really sucks, but that nigga don't give a damn.
He going to work, baby.
Drew is like Tyshawn in game, low key. That like Drew is this nice little Christian boy that's so innocent, but in his brain, Drew don't give a fuck about any of these niggas.
He's here to win.
One of them. Not one of them. It's actually scary. At least that's what I feel like I'm observing. Because his actions are very much like, fuck all of them.
Really. It's very cutthroat. Very, very cutthroat. Very, I'm here to win this game. But that's how you win. Every winner so far, they've either had that mindset the entire time or adopted that mindset for sure. Lisa had to grow to that, and when she decided, fuck that nigga, I'm not voting him back in the game, she started to be the winner. June never gave a fuck about anybody. The fuck, Will never gave a fuck about anybody. Yep. And what we see from here, Drew, he's just pretending. Honestly, it's really just pretend. It's giving pretend.
He did not beat up over the shit at all. He was not that sad about Scott leaving, girl. He didn't give a damn. This week he was cuddling with Diane the whole time, bitch. Didn't give a damn. He took out Holly because Jase was with Holly the whole time and Drew with Diane half the time.
Yep. And don't give a fuck.
He's sick as fuck.
And don't give a fuck. Very good at pivoting. I really feel like very good at pivoting. It kind of, in a way, it kind of reminds me of Lisa because her alliance got decimated. And when her alliance got decimated, she pivoted to the other side, and she got close to the most dominating force on the other side. And I feel like Drew is giving Lisa.
And that makes his HOH that much better too, because he took out Holly, this person who was, someone that no one was really touching, someone that he could get away with taking out without making it enemies. This week, he put up Marvin. Marvin don't give a damn. Wait, who did he put up? Nakomis.
Adria
don't give a damn that she got put up. Nakomis don't give a damn that she was put up. It's actually insane the way he could basically get away with anything and no one gives a damn. People still think he's on their side. Nakomis was talking about the back door this week and was saying how Drew is on their side with it. And it's like, this man is not on the side. And it just makes his HOH that much better because he specifically said that he does not want to touch any of them because he don't want to lose trust with any of them. And he still gave in with Nakomis and Adria, and they still didn't lose trust with him.
Child. So the girls and the gays, they're deciding who they need to renom. Now, they specifically Adria, but a few of them don't necessarily think it should be Marvin.
I don't know what Adria got going on. This was Natalie.
It was Natalie. They don't want it. They don't think it should be Marvin because to be frank, it doesn't make sense that it would be Marvin. But hey, they're like, it shouldn't be Marvin that needs to be renommed because he's a wild card. We don't need to put him up. What were we thinking at the beginning of the week? It needs to be Jase and Scott. And if we're voting out Scott, why are we putting up Marvin? It doesn't make no motherfucking sense. And it seemed like it was taking some time for some of the girls for this to click for some of the girls.
Right.
And that was scary, specifically Diane. Diane scares me. I'm not gonna lie, Diane scares me because she can control it, but a lot of the time I'm like, Diane, are you dumb? Like I'm not sure.
It took us some time to do what?
For her to, I feel like for me, it didn't seem like she was sure because even before nominations, she was like, I think I might just nom Jason Marvin. After nominations, she's like, well, I think da. And then, of course, we see by the end of it, she's controlling it and she has a plan of why she put up Marvin, but she scares the fuck out of me. Sometimes I'm not sure that she knows what she's doing. Why did you want to put up Marvin in the first place?
At the beginning of the week, she did mention Marvin, but I feel like from what I was reading, she was mainly going ho on Jason Scott. And then even after the veto situation, she was still saying that I want Scott to go because I feel like Scott won't vote me in the end. So I do feel like the wavering started more towards the middle when people were talking to her more, but she always kind of went back on I want Scott out of the game.
She did.
So I'm not gonna let you try to clock on, but too bad. Okay.
She scares me. She scares me.
I had to pause because I had to keep it quick with you real quick.
Yeah, because she no, I get scared, baby. I don't trust her. Like I genuinely don't trust. I'm like, is somebody gonna talk to you and you just gonna do the wrong thing, baby? I get scared. I get so scared. But she controlled it. Whole time, Will and Karen have other plans.
Yeah, and all of this, they're pushing for Marvin to go so bad because they feel like Marvin is a specific threat to their group, and they also want Jase and Scott in the game essentially so Jase and Scott can take out people like Adria, which is a crazy plan. We'll go more into detail about why Will and Karen are pushing this so much because they have so many other agendas, but for now they're the main ones pushing Marvin to go after Scott, to go over Scott. And Diane at this moment is like, well, she wants Scott out because she feels like he will not give her his vote at the end, which is definitely true. And all of this, at this moment, they are basically still leaning more towards Scott because that's what Diane wants the most. And they're looking towards next week, and that's when Nakomis is still bringing up her little 6-finger plan. And I'm like, period, mama. Okay, so they already have this plan set. I'm just going to go ahead and say this was definitely Nakomis' plan in this season. I don't know where the Marvin rumors came from. But when other people even talking about it, they refer to Nakomis. So I believe that this was Nakomis' plan for sure. And
she's consistently mentioned it. She's consistently mentioned it over and over again before this week, and then of course next week she does it. She's consistently mentioned this plan, so it's definitely given very much so Nakomis. I'm wondering where the Marvin tea came from. Like, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking like, does Marvin? Because I'm like, does Marvin know that Nakomis has this plan? I don't know if he's ever been taught of it. So I'm like,
this is when I can bring that up. In the feeds that I was reading, Diane tells Marvin the plan.
There you go.
And he's like, okay, well, you can nominate me. So I'm assuming maybe around the time of this week, maybe they saw Marvin talking about it. Gotcha. And then it looked like, oh, he's talking about it, so he came up with it. And no. She came up with this weeks in advance. Marvin didn't even know about it until Diane told him next week. So I definitely feel like Nakomis came up with this, and it is what it is. But what's basically setting it up right now is that the girls, specifically Diane, Nakomis, and Adria, are saying that they want Scott out. You have Will, Karen, Jase, and Drew pushing for Marvin to go up and go home. So later that night, Drew is talking to Diane and they're cuddling or whatever, and he's telling her it would be best if you renominate Marvin. And he's giving her some more information. He's telling her Scott is not going to put you up. You're good with Scott. Scott trusts you. So if you put up Marvin and take him out, you're still good with that side. That is a blatant lie. Drew is blatantly lying in that girl's face. He wakes up the next morning and he tells Scott to go tell her the exact same lie. He don't give a damn about that girl. And don't give a single fuck. The only people who are looking out for Diane at this point is Adria and Nakomis, because they're Natalie and Nakomis. Natalie and Nakomis. They're the main one telling her that everyone else is pushing Marvin. You need to do Scott. If you take out Marvin this week, this is only helping that side of the house because they want Marvin out. And Will and Karen don't give a damn because for some reason they want to help that side of the house. So it's just, girl, listen to your girls, okay?
It was crazy. And then, of course, after all of this, she's talked to everybody. Everyone's gave her opinion. A part of me was like, because the other option for renom is Cowboy, which we haven't even brought up because it damn near didn't get brought up. But she ends up renomming Marvin. And honestly, at first I was like, I don't even know why she decided to renom Marvin in general, but she's going along with Scott and Jase's little plan. Because Scott and Jase were like, we're going to give Diane the same plan we gave Adria. And in this plan, we wanted to protect Adria for the next week. They're claiming to protect Diane. Diane is like, look, I'm going to pretend that I'm going along with their little plan. I'm going to pretend that they got me in their captivities, and I'm just going to put up Marvin. We're still going to vote out Scott. And guess what? We're not even going to tell them. They blindsided the fuck out of these niggas for no reason, technically for no reason, but I loved it.
What's crazy too is that it still ended up being a blindside when throughout the week they were clocking the tea. There were several times on the feed archives where they were saying that, I'm actually going home. Like, I think it's it for me. And they still end up being shocked because they kept playing in their face. Like, it was so interesting to watch that. But it was still kind of risky to, I feel like, put up Marvin. However, at this point, the alliance became solidified. Like, when they're agreeing on who to vote, this girl/gay alliance is fully solidified. And they're like, well, whoever you want is what we'll do. And then people like Will and Karen who have their own agenda, my observation of them is that they're pussy a little bit, no shade. The people who play smart, they're usually kind of passive in a lot of ways. So, of course, they're not going to openly vote against the plan. So they kind of pivot off that really, really quickly. But I found that really interesting that she still was bold enough to put up Marvin, knowing that, girl, he could have went home.
Yeah, very, very risky. And I think the truth of the matter is no one gives a fuck about Marvin. They genuinely were considering, all of them were understanding how Marvin could go in this moment. They were still considering it because they don't like Marvin and they do feel like Marvin's a threat. So it's like, it's not even, it wouldn't have been they wouldn't have cared if Marvin went home, and that's why they put up Marvin. I think, like, if you're just watching the episodes, it's kind of like, so why did they do that? Like, it doesn't seem like it makes any sense. But truly, for them, he's a threat just as much as the other people. Like, they've literally said, Cowboy is not a threat. We're never putting him up. He will go all the way to the end with us. I don't give a fuck. And they've literally said, Drew will work with us. Drew is in our alliance damn near. He's number 6 to the 6-finger plan. And they feel like, other than Jason Scott, it's Marvin who has to go. That's truly how they feel.
And this is why it's really important that even if you're a floater, you have to have long-lasting connections. And that's something that Marvin really wasn't able to get. And It's unfortunate because it leads you to this type of situation. But that is actually so hilarious, though. They don't give a fuck about Cowboy, which is why his score is probably getting brought the fuck down because
no one can.
Girl, they are openly saying they think that they use the R word. They said the R word. Yeah, like they do not respect that man at all.
They've disregarded him. He's giving very much so Victoria. Like it's giving, you will never win this game. No one appreciates you. No one thinks you're a good player. No one thinks you're an individual. You're just someone who we have here in the way. Really, you're a spot. You're a spot. You're a goat to take. He's like the original goat, honestly. Like really. But yes.
I do want to give my sister a little bit of credit though, because I will say also by her playing into the plan, even if Marvin did go, it's like, well, I still did the plan. But it depends.
They were putting her up anyways.
But the Horsemen waffle so much because they did say that they would just not. They probably would put her up, but then as the week progressed, they were mad at other people. So it's possible they wouldn't have put her up, but at the same time, they also said that they would. So it's like.
So towards the end of the week, Adria gets called out. She gets called out by Scott and Jase. They're mad as fuck because they felt like they saved her last week, which once again, I don't know why the fuck Holly went home specifically for Scott and Jase. Are y'all dumb? Clearly, because they were looking for a vote and Julie calls his ass out. And she says, well, you were looking for a vote. Do you regret voting out Holly? That would have been a vote for you. And he's like, well, no, I don't regret anything. And da da da. Okay, dummy.
That. I don't regret this obviously stupid ass move that led me to sit right here because I regret nothing. Girl, if I was out there, hell yeah, I regretted Julie. The fuck, I wouldn't. I
should have never took out Holly. Like, what? Are y'all stupid? Because they made this stupid ass meaningless deal with Adria. Y'all are silly. And then they called Adria out and they were mad at her because they felt like she was clearly not going to go with the plan because why the fuck would she? And then we see that Adria is actually like, well, I mean. Maybe Scott doesn't have to go.
This becomes a problem later in the week because Adria is actually non-committal to both sides. On the episode, they showed all of the other girls and Will talking about how we can't trust Adria. Why is she flip-flopping? And we were like, this gotta be photoshopping AI. No, randomly, Adria because they have to vote on Wednesdays.
Yep.
And then the eviction is on Thursday. So on Tuesday, she's telling both sides she don't know where she's voting. And that led to the girls and the gays being like, well, fuck her, because we're making this close-ass vote and you won't tell us. And then they're citing this argument. They're like, she's having this big-ass argument with them about where she's going to vote. She's not telling them. She's not telling us. Then what is she going to do? Like, exactly. Is she trying to avoid blame? Is she trying to, you know what I mean? And honestly, it's just Adria. Because I kind of know what happens with Adria, and she truly fucked up her game right here. People was already kind of wishy-washy on her, but Diane and Nakomis weren't. Even with all of this mess, Nakomis is one of the main ones giving her the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like her losing Diane's trust right here is bad because Diane, no shade, and this is kind of getting around the house, is gullible and workful. So if with this week you have Will and Karen working on Diane and Nakomis, well, they're like, well, yeah, Adria is weird. And then her sister comes in and then she tries to out Will. It's just, I can see how that leads up to what we get to because she really gets weird here. It's so weird how she wouldn't just tell them, I'm voting that man out because she voted him out. So why not tell them? Even after she already did her vote on Wednesday, she would not tell them. It's weird.
My theory is, not even my theory, I think she's just trying to do what Will and Karen are doing, specifically Will. I think she's trying to do what Will is doing, except she's bad at it. I think she's trying to be this ambiguous person who could, like, y'all could work with me. And we kind of saw her have that slight energy when they were in power. They always thought they could bring in Adria because she was making herself available to them. And I don't know what it was about this week, but she just did it in front of everybody's face. And it's like, girl, if you're going to play this, I could kind of be in the middle game. You don't do it in everybody's face, which is why Will said, y'all, we're good. Because Will was pushing for Marvin. And there was a moment on the feeds where all the girls were in the room without Will. And they decided, girl, Marvin is staying. Scott is going. And they all knew Will wanted him to go. And when Will came in the room, they were like, by the way, Will, we decided Marvin's not going home. And Will was like, oh, girl, I don't give a fuck about all of that. It's fine. We're good. Because he's not finna put it right in their face that he definitely wants Marvin to go. Why would you do that? And I feel like Adria is doing exactly what Will knew not to do, which is you're telling everybody that you don't give a fuck about either side. Like, what are you doing? Girl, I don't know. I think she was scared that Natalie was coming in. I just think it was a lot in her head at the time. She was like, our options have to be open because Natalie's coming in, and I don't know. I don't want to just tell them no, and I don't want to just tell them no because then we need to make sure. Because what if they don't want to work with me because Natalie's here? I think she had too much going on because she didn't usually do this. Like she didn't play like this last week when she was saving her ass because sure Natalie did work, but Adria did good work too. This was weird.
But that's the thing. I feel like Natalie, because the girl who was saying we cannot take out Marvin because we're helping that side. I don't think that was Adria. I think that was Natalie. And at this point, Adria is now back in, and Adria is like, well, I don't know. I really don't know. And that's why I think I'm interested to see who's the better strategist between the two now that they're both in the game, because I feel like I'm getting the sense that maybe the more smarter moments we did see with Natalie. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see what that's going to give. But there's a lot more going into why Adria is kind of being targeted too, and that's via Will. And we'll get more into that too because Will is sick.
Let's slide into that right now, actually, because Jase and Will, we saw the conversation with Jase and Will on the TV screen, but we didn't get all the intricacies of what Will is doing, baby. Because, of course, they're trying to make this alliance to work between the two sides. Will, y'all, just to let y'all know, Will thinks he's Danielle Reyes.
He definitely does.
He is Michael Bruner.
Danielle Reyes. He's not even Michael Bruner.
He's not even Michael Bruner. Well, he could be. He can.
He can, but he's not.
He can. But he's not Danielle Reyes. And he thinks he is. I think he's. Oh my god. You know what else I was thinking when I was reading the feeds? On the feeds, y'all, they constantly mention Danielle and Jason as like, admirable. They mention them in such a positive regard. And it's very interesting because that wasn't even the last season. Like they skip over 2, they skip over 4, Danielle and Jason. Like the Danielle and Jason lore was already started in BB5. I'm thinking that's something that came with time and there are these legends from BB5. Danielle and Jason are legends. He's saying me and Karen are playing like Danielle and Jason. He's saying we could do this little twisting like Danny did with that other person from like Jason. We can kind of work from different. Like it's this Danielle inspired gameplay, and it's like, oh my gosh, she's inspiring.
They know who a diva is. They know who a diva is. I'm a diva.
I'm a diva. So yes, he has this plan with Jase to work with him. Woo. And he also, his real final 2 is with Karen, of course. But with Jase, he's telling Jase a lot of information.
Yes,
and that's what kills me. Yes. Why are you telling him everything?
And I guess it doesn't go anywhere, but I mean, it could have. Jase could have won HOH or some shit. You never know. Yeah. But literally, he's telling him that he's purposely pushing Marvin because he wants Marvin to go and to save Scott. And he starts throwing Nakomis and Adria under the bus. And he's like, don't worry about Diane. Diane is workable. I have Karen. Nakomis and Adria are saying they want to put you up. And he's mainly pushing for it to be Adria because he tells Karen that he wants Adria out. And he's like, maybe we can take out Marvin this week because like, they feel like Marvin is a threat to their alliance, their final 2. Don't know why. But they feel like he's very intelligent and that he's very smart and he knows the game very, very well. So they're threatened by him. And they want to keep Scott and Jase in the game to potentially go after Adria. They want to throw HOH to them and things like that. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all
they've talked about throwing HOH. We know with this HOH, Will like literally told Diane and Jase, hey, I will step down if y'all promise not to put me up. Will is that type of player. He's going to try to make sure he's good on all sides. He's going to try to throw. He's going to try to come up with a plan. He's going to try to work all the houses. And I do appreciate that. And I think the reason I felt like him and Karen want to take out Marvin and Adria is because I think they feel like they have their fingers in Jase and Scott. And they have their fingers in Diane in the sense that they can convince her of things. I think the only people they think they can't control is Marvin and Adria. And I think that is true. You can't control Marvin or Adria, I will say. Or Natalie.
At all.
And I think that's what Will's mindset is. I need to be able to control everybody in the game. And we see how I
think their priorities are off because they talk about Drew every once in a while and they're like, well, Drew's playing the fence, but I'm not worried about that. And how do you plan on getting Scott and Jase out? I mean, they were winning all of the competitions for the first 3 to 4 weeks. So why are you not scared about them staying in the game this large like this? Like, I think their priorities is just in the wrong place. You're worried about Adria and Marvin when all 4 of the horsemen are over there.
Yep. Shine. So that's their plan. And going into next week, that's what they want to do. They want to wield Jase to take out Adria, and if they win, they want to take out Marvin. They have all of these other types of plans going on. Meanwhile, the girls and the gays are also know with Adria, like Lee, and we talked about, because she's doing all of this random stuff. Will is pushing the agenda towards it.
And that's what I wanted to say, because the girls were all wishy-washy again. They went back to contemplating. Will at this point has fully been flipped around, and he now wants Marvin to stay because him and Karen have already started doing work on Marvin, and they don't want to fuck that up. They're telling Marvin, we have your back, you're good with us, we're keeping you safe. So now they're like, fuck that, Scott can now go. So he's the one coming into the room, and he's like, no, it still needs to be Scott. And all of them like, yeah, you're right, it should still be Scott. But Adria is non-committal, and Adria won't say anything, and it's Will who's specifically pushing to these girls and Karen now almost all of the time that Adria cannot be trusted. We don't want to tell Adria information. She's not telling us about the vote. So Diane is fully like, well, I don't trust her now. And Nakomis is the only one who's like, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. But I just found that so interesting because Will is doing all of this intricate shit, and he's now pushing this Adria target, which is what I believe is probably what makes her such an easy target down the line. So I remember when I watched originally, why did they kind of turn on her so quickly? And I feel like it's a lot of what Will is doing. But now I don't feel bad for Will because Adria ate his ass up.
Yeah, she caught your ass. She ate your ass up. I like it. I when it seemed like Will wanted Jase and Scott in the game, I didn't love it. But knowing, like, when we get to the end of the week and Will is like, Scott is going home and Adria needs to be next, I like that way better because Scott is now not here. Scott not being in the game and him targeting Adria, I think makes way more sense than Scott being in the game with Jase and him still worried about Adria. That don't make no sense to me. So that was better for me. But that concludes the week. Scott gets evicted.
A really fun week on the feeds. Really fun.
Fun week.
I would assume that it's really not going to get more interesting than this going forward, especially when like once Karen and Will kind of have nowhere even else to like game, I think it's really going to be done because there's already not a lot of game. Like most of the feeds are them talking shit. So that's why I was so excited to talk about what Will is doing because it's really the only other development other than what we're kind of seeing on the episodes.
So Scott gets evicted. Julie reveals the twist to Scott, and then she reveals the twist to the house guest. Boom! Natalie has entered the motherfucking villa,
bitch. A bombshell, bitch.
A bombshell,
bitch. A new bombshell has entered the villa.
A new bombshell has entered the villa. Natalie.
I would have gagged.
No, I would have been so gagged because they don't know what she's talking about. She's like, someone has been playing as a twin. They're like, who is it? Everyone knows Drew has a twin. Everyone knows Diane has a twin. Cowboy ass thinks it's Holly.
It's Holly.
Alessandro in the chat. No. And then Natalie, Adria point two. Y'all, I would have been so baffled to see another. Like, she looks so identical. I would have been scared, shook, panicking. But it's Natalie, girl. I know that's right.
It's such a cute twist. Like, for the time, I feel like this is one of the biggest gags ever. It's like one of the biggest gags in Big Brother history. Like, to literally reveal the twist by having her walk in, and you see Adria walking towards you, and she's sitting next to you. Like, oh my God. And I'm excited to now read these feeds to see what it's going to give. Like, will the feedsters be able to tell them apart? Will they be able to update it correctly? Like it's so trippy. It's just so trippy. And now they're both here. And I'm so because I know Jase goes home next with the backdoor plan. I'm like, is Jase and Jury or not? I guess we'll see, but I don't recall if he get to vote or not. Because if so, then it could tie. But I guess we'll see.
I'm curious about the jury too.
Vote.
I'm thinking maybe they could share a vote. I do not remember who was in the jury. It feels weird for Jase not to be in the jury a little bit, but maybe he just isn't
the main character.
Yeah, maybe he's not. Maybe he's the last preacher, which would be very weird. But we'll see, child.
Why didn't they find identical twins again though? Because Julia and Liz was not given look alike.
Honestly, how similar Adria and Natalie look alike, I've never seen twins look that similar. Like Diane and her twin, they look different as fuck. Drew looks like his twin, but I feel like it's not as identical. Adria and Natalie look
just the exact same person. Oh, like Jase doesn't make the jury. Okay.
Jase does not. Okay. That makes sense.
Not Jase. Oh well. Sucks to suck.
It does.
Damn, Natalie took his spot.
She took his spot. Oh my God. But honestly, how lopsided it is on the sides now is crazy because, bitch, it's 6-4, bitch. Barely.
It's not even 6-4.
Because Marvin's not with them.
Jase.
Drew don't give a fuck no more. It's not a side.
Girl, it's not a side. Really, Natalie and Adria should be in the middle. Will, Diane, Karen, Nakomis, Drew, and Marvin all on one side. And Cowboy is being hung on by Drew.
Literally.
Basically.
Like, what? Whew, we got crazy.
It makes sense that they just turn on the twins. It's like,
yeah, and it is a threat. Like, it is threatening. I would be taken aback.
I wouldn't be worried about the twins though. Not
really.
They're not scared. They don't give me scary vibes. Like, I would feel like I could run them.
Will, you giving Vanessa Russo?
Look, no shade.
Period.
Like, I would be worried about Will. I think I would be. Now I have like the bird's eye view, but Will and Karen just give shady.
They do give Karen specifically.
I would love Diane. I would love Nakomis, and I think I would love Adria. That would be my final four. That would be my 4-person thing already. So when the twins come in, I'd be like, shit, bet. Final five.
There's a 5. I do think Diane should have went to the end with the twins. Diane, Nicole, and Nakomis, I don't think they should target the twins at all. I think the only people who should target the twins are the boys and Will. Well, Will is a boy. The boys. I don't see why any of the girls would target the twins. I don't think it benefits any of them, honestly. Maybe Karen, I can kind of see because she's kind of in the middle too. But it doesn't make any sense for Diane or Nakomis. Truly, they're working with y'all, likely. But they who knows what Adria starts to do because she gets a little kooky. But boom, Scott goes home. Lee, overall, what are we giving Scott? What are you feeling?
I don't have no thoughts on Scott. Just give him the 1. Like, even the comp beast for real. He won that 1 veto. Like, he's brought nothing to the show for real. He's just been a jackass. He's been an asshole. He's been a liar. No one likes him at all. And I've said several times he is someone who could have hid behind Jase's obnoxiousness. He couldn't even do that. Like, he
wanted to one-up him.
Yeah, like he could be in a Drew position because he is so sociable. People do talk to him all of the time. He talks to people all of the time, but he's such an asshole, and he had no self-realization or perception to be able to fix it. It's a 1.
Yeah, I agree with the 1. I think he purposefully plays bad. It's so weird. Like, I don't think he has to be the way he
for flops.
And his Playgirl pictures were flops. I just don't think he even has to be the way he is. He chose to be this way, and it was weird, and it wasn't good for the game. He's made so many terrible decisions. He took out Holly. He had this whole plan with everything that's went wrong is because of his own doing. He's weird. Like, it really does give. You really said it. It really does give Chilltown, except worse.
They never learn.
They never learn. Like, it just gave that. Like, you're stupid. Like, anyways, next, Jase is still in the game. He won the veto. He almost won the HOH, so he's good at comps. But other than that, he's the main target for a lot of people. Well, not everybody. I don't think Will and Karen will. I don't think Will and Karen will necessarily take his ass out because they're low key trying to work with his ass. Cowboy won't take his ass out, and I don't think Drew will take his ass out. I kind of don't.
The HOH,
and we know who got the HOH, but I don't rate off of that. But considering all of the intricacies, I don't think he necessarily would have been target number 1 for every single person. So there's that. And that is he does work on that too. He went to Will and Will agreed. So he ate that up. He's kind of smart sometimes and he can win veto, but maybe we know about that back door. I know what's coming, but according to the intricacies of the week, I'm gonna give him a 2. Still a big target, but he did some work.
Even when excluding everything else I know, it's a 1.5 for me. He's hanging on by a thread. He's also still very obnoxious. He knew that Scott had a possibility to go home. He's threatening people. He threatened Karen. He threatened the girls to try to keep him. He throws himself in this position every single time. His only benefit is that he can win veto, and we already know that they're planning the 6-figure plan. The thing is, them planning the 6-figure plan for him is this week. So we know what they have set up for his ass. So 1.5, no.
Period. How you feeling about Marvin?
I gave him the 2 last week. I'm gonna just give him the 2 again. The thing he's just floating on air, bitch, because no one really likes him. He almost went home this week. I have to actually bring it down 1.5 as well. He got nominated. He could have went home. It was a 4-3 vote a 4-3 vote. If Adria was really serious, she could have flipped and sent his ass home. Like it was that bad. Okay. And he at this point is gonna become the pawn star. Like, what else are they gonna need Marvin for other than a possibility to go up as a nominee?
I agree. Terrible gameplay. He hasn't done anything. He's not really good at trying to keep himself safe. Like, he had a conversation with Diane, like, to try to convince her, and that was kind of it. It's not, he doesn't do a lot of active work. Like, even Jase is trying to make a deal with Will or something. Like, Marvin doesn't do shit for real. Like, he really does not do active work to prevent himself or to get himself into a structure or something. He's trying, and the girls are going to keep him in the 6-finger plan of it all, but it's none of his doing. He could have went home this week. Adria could have voted his ass out because she doesn't really care about him. It got to go down. I'm bringing him to the 2. Diane. So Diane was HOH. She took out Scott. Her target was Jase. She did a good job with all of that. Huh?
I was just making sure.
Let's calm down, Stan. But yes, she did a good job. She helped form the structure of this alliance, and that was what was like fucking them up. I feel is that this alliance had no structure. Her winning this HOH helped form that structure, and she kept reminding them of that. She's like, we need to all be in the HOH room. Why are we not all in the HOH room? We need to all discuss this. Y'all need to come in here during y'all lunch, y'all dinner. Yep. That's what they're doing on that side. We need to be locked in on our side. She really helped lock in this alliance, and that is really, really good for her. She has Drew on the other side, who is probably never going to target her for a while because he knows he can run that bitch. Well, he might know he can run that bitch. So that's something for her as well. And also people like Will and Karen, who are doing this double dealing, they feel like they can have control over her. And I feel like she's becoming in a position to where she's not going to be targeted for a while because of the way people feel about her. Will and Karen think they can control her. Adria and Nakomis are in alliance with her. Drew is with her, and Drew now has Cowboy. The only people in the house who she's not necessarily connected to is kind of Marvin and kind of Jase, but her and Marvin kind of have dealings going on because she's been the HOH this week, and Jase is going home. So she's in a really good position now, honestly. She's still not my, like, strength-wise as a strategist. She's not that girl. I had some worries about her putting up Marvin. I didn't love that for her. It was risky, in my opinion, because like we said, just how Marvin could have went home, and Scott and Jase would have still been here, and they still would have had their 4-person alliance, and I don't love that. Why was it 4-3? We didn't need to risk that, and she's just a risky player, and that riskiness is what's preventing me from but I actually really do like her position, and I think she helped her position by winning this. So I'm gonna give her, honestly, a 5.5.
Okay, bitch. Okay. That's why I was deciding. I was like, do I give her the 6 or do I give her the 5.5? I also want to do the 5.5. I feel like even though she didn't take out her main target is everyone's main target for the most part, other than, I would say, Cowboy and Drew. And you mentioned Will and Karen. I think Will and Karen, if we're to win, they would just go along with it. I think Will and Karen is all talk. Producers know it too. That's why they don't show their conversations. Like, I think they talk a lot, but when faced with the real shit, it don't give that they would do it. And I think you broke it down well, like who she's interconnected with. Like, she really has a lot of targets in front of her, and she's moving on up. That strategy, not always the best, but the thing is, they feel like she can be ran. The only person who can run her for real is Drew. Will and Karen, I don't believe, could really run her like that. They can sway her in a certain direction, but I do think Diane's going to do what she wants at the end of the day, and not whatever Will and Karen want. So I'll give it 5.5.
Period.
She don't even like Karen, and that's going to slide into Karen. Because people don't like Karen at all. Karen is annoying the house. And Karen kind of annoying me too, no shade. I love Karen the person, but Karen the gamer, she is so sporadic and all over the place. She goes around the house this entire week and just is spouting game. And she's always so paranoid. Like, she was the main one, like, dragging Adria. Like, she gets nasty a little bit, okay? Like, she's someone I would love to have a good nasty blunt with, paint some pictures with Karen, but games with Karen, like, she's the main reason why they're not Danielle and Jason, because she doesn't compete with any one of them. She's way too paranoid, and people don't trust her. The girls, Diane, Nakomis, and Adria spoke about this week how they feel like they're just dragging her along. When she tries to talk to Jase and Scott and Drew and them, they don't really believe the words that she's saying. They feel like she's putting on an act. They don't trust her. The only person who really trusts her in this house is Will. And they're delusionally thinking they're doing the Danielle and Jason. I don't think that she's like, an immediate target. Her alliance is now taking power, but I can see her easily being a casualty, unless the other people become bigger threats. And I do think someone like Diane may be a slightly bigger threat than her. So as the twins, maybe even Nakomis, because they can win comp. She's not winning comp. She's not doing that much. However, people don't like her, and that's not good. She's always going to be an option. And the thing is, I don't see her doing better with that, because to her, she thinks she is doing good. To her, she's having these conversations and she thinks that she's manipulating and changing people's opinion on her, and she's not. So she's going to keep doing the same thing she's doing, and that's only like really digging her a bigger hole. For right now, I wouldn't say immediate danger. So I'm going to just keep her at the 4, but I don't love what she has going on in that house at all. No.
You cocked her teeth so nasty. I agree with the 4 as well. Everything you said. I feel like she's not in danger at all because of, honestly, like, people don't like her, but I don't think people take her that seriously either. Like, I don't think they see her as a threat, because she's kind of like this kooky type of person. And people don't necessarily love the way she is. So she isn't really in any true person's, I feel like, in game. Like, she doesn't have any real in-game opportunities other than Will. And I think her connection to Will is what's honestly keeping her at the 4 for me, because Will has a lot of activeness in his game, and I think he's actually effective with his game. And I think her being in this secret duo, which is why secret duos are helpful regardless, because I think that's what's keeping her afloat, to be honest. Without Will, this girl will be lost in the wind, baby. Like, I'm wondering what happens when he goes home to where she's able to make it all the way to the end game, because I'm like, right now it seems like the only way you're even making it through this game is with your connection with Will. Without your connection with Will, no one likes you. So
they're not worried about her. I feel like by
it
that
is given
in
that
the
though.
Game, there's so many other people to worry about. Why are we touching Karen? Which is definitely her superpower, but she has no respect in this game. She would not win in the final 2 as of now.
Yeah, very much so. Next we have Adria.
Now, Natalie.
I can't rate a girl. Well, I guess we could have ranked her. We could have rated her. I can't decipher them yet. Like, I can't decipher how she played versus how she played. So I was like, I'm not gonna do it this round. But Adria / Natalie. This is both for their ratings, I will say.
Fuck herself up. No, Adria fucked Natalie up.
And that's why I'm like, we're rating Adria. That's why I'm saying we're rating Adria. I'm rating Natalie. I'm rating Adria.
Bad this week
because Adria fucked them up really bad. And it's weird because Adria / Natalie aren't bad players. I don't think Adria specifically. I don't think Adria has to be a terrible player all the time. I think there are a lot of good qualities. Even the mindset behind what she's doing is smart. It's just the way she's doing it is what's fucking wrong and crazy. But she's damn near becoming target number 1 thanks to Will, who is a very active player. He's pushing it very heavily. But also, she's not giving herself any favors. She's doing it herself. She's digging herself a hole. And people who are against her that she doesn't know are against her are helping her dig that hole. And I do think Natalie coming in can make people feel threatened a little bit. I think also that on top of you already pissing people off, it's like, hold the fuck on now, girl. You already was pissing me off, and now your twins here. It's like you kind of have to be a big target moving forward. I fully understand it. You're pissing people off, and then now you got another person. So I don't love this for her at all. And she, in my opinion, I didn't even think she was doing bad at the beginning of the week. But by the end of the week, I'm like, you're not going into this next week in a good position at all. Like, I'm scared that you could be even nominated next week for no fucking reason. So that's scary, but I know Nakomis wins HO, which is good for her. But very scary. But she's very scary. Her sister's in the game, so that's helpful too, because now you got an ally. She's still in this alliance. She's still in the group, even though Will is pushing against her. I just hate this for her. I'm gonna give her the 3. I'm gonna give her the 3. And we see
each other today, because I also said the same, the 3. I mean, when it came down to her being non-committal at the end, like literally, if she didn't do that, she would still be in the good graces of the girls. I don't trust it now, because on the off chance that a boy do win, Adria is an option, and Adria could go home because the entire house will be against her. Especially now that her twin is in, they'd probably just non the twin. If one of the boys won his HOH, they'd probably just non the twins. Yeah, and boom, by Adria. Or regardless, one of them girls will go. Like, it's really bad. Like, she did not do herself any favors this week. I cannot believe she did that. But overall, I do really enjoy Adria, especially what we saw last week with her and Natalie saving themselves that way. I don't know how all of that game just went out the window. It's crazy.
Ugh. How you feel about Nakomis, girl?
Nakomis, I really enjoy Nakomis. Still not a lot of real I feel like development in her individual connections. She seemed to be well insulated within the Girls Alliance, which is great. Everyone talks to her equally. No one really is talking about her being an issue or a problem. Like, they all complain about each other, but no one really complains about Nakomis in the group. Now, Will did throw her under the bus, but he was mainly pushing for Adria, and he was mainly trying to protect Karen by pushing Nakomis, and that doesn't really go much places because the guys still don't dislike Nakomis. You know, there's been some issues on like, oh, Cowboy needs to control his sister, and where is she at? But they're not talking about going after Nakomis. She's not high on anyone's target list, and she's also coming up with this backdoor plan. Now, I don't know about the backdoor plan. I don't know what it does, or the six-finger plan.
I don't even think she's called it that yet.
She's called
the plan.
She's called it the six-finger plan.
Oh, okay, good.
And that's just really intellectual. So I'm excited to see how that's going to play out if she gets to use it, you know. But in general, it's hard for me to go much higher on her, only because I'm like, I don't really see where her trajectory is coming in at. Like, I know where she ends up, but if I'm watching it from this POV now, like, I don't know how she gets to this end game based on the connections that she has. But I do love that the alliance solidified this week. I do, based on the fact that someone has the HOH, and she does have the HOH, I'll bring her up to the 5.5. You know, we'll see where it's going to give.
Yeah. I agree with the 5.5. Oh my
God.
Alessandro,
they keep doing this on the updates. Every time they call her Jennifer, I'm like, who the hell is that? Like, on the updates, someone will randomly say Jennifer. I'm like, who the fuck is Jennifer?
Child. And Julie keeps calling her that. Call this girl Nakomis.
Oh my God. Her damn name.
Her name. But you know what Nakomis is, Lee?
What?
Nakomis is strategically intelligent, but she's not strategically dominant. That's what it is with her. I think she's very smart, and we could tell that by her being the most confident person about Marvin not needing to go the fuck home, because that doesn't make any sense. She's very smart about coming up with the six-finger plan from what we see. Very, very smart. It's just, are you capable of implementing strategy in a dominant way? I don't see that, and it's kind of because her social game is like very minimal. Like, socially, she's average with everyone, but I don't feel like anyone is Nakomis is my girl. She's going to the end. Nakomis and me, we're locked into the end. We're going to final two. Even Diane doesn't give a fuck about her in that way, you know. Like, and even when it was Diane and Adria. It was never Nakomis. Nakomis has never been anyone's priority. And that's going to be a fault for her the entire time. And that's why it's like been so hard for us to bring her up above this 5 area, because it's like, girl, you're not prioritized by anybody, and you're in this alliance. But it's like, when is she going to become someone's number one, you know? And I'm thinking, I'm like, that might never happen, because I think Diane and Drew might just be each other's number ones. And it's like, she just kind of ends up in that space where she ends up, but she's just not prioritized. And that's unfortunate. But next we have Cowboy. Girl. Now, he didn't get renommed because no one cares about him. No one finds him valuable. They don't think he's intelligent. I think one person actually said he's playing dumb. So that person, I think it was Karen. Karen thinks he's smart, but he's playing dumb. But no one else does.
Is in the clouds,
and Karen is in the clouds. And no one else does think that. No one respects him as a game player, and he's not creating respect for himself as a game player. He's very bad at garnering a perception of him. In a positive way. Like, everyone thinks he's just a follower, and he is a follower. Honestly, he's literally wanting to fall down this well with Scott and Jase as they're going home, and Drew's having to tell him, like, girl, that alliance is over, we need to move forward. And he's not ready to do that. He's not trying to do that. He's not building relationships with anyone on the other side. He's not talking to anyone. He's not doing anything. He's not going to get targeted because no one respects him, but he's not going to get targeted, and that's just a fact on that. I just don't love his gameplay. He's not playing good at all. He's just not a target. I'm gonna give him a 3.5.
Finally, we get to bring this man down.
Scott going home. Scott going home is terrible for him.
Every single thing you said, I'm giving him the 3. At this point, now that I brought him down to the 3, I'm gonna have to see major improvement, and I don't really see that. The only way I see how he got to final 2 is being Drew's lackey, and the girls being like, well, there's no reason to target Cowboy, and we like Drew, so they're just there. And then they start winning HOHs. Like, I'm sorry, Cowboy is dumb. He really is. I don't know how else really to put it. He's not smart. You're not smart.
You're not smart.
And it's just it's embarrassing to watch him just be a punching bag, follow the leader, not have his own mind. Sometimes when he talks game, I like his POV, I will say. One time he was talking, he was like, if I was HOH, I would nominate Will and Karen. I said, okay, that's something. But we all know that if he were to win, and Drew said, nominate yourself.
Yep.
And Diane, he gonna do it.
That's the issue. I think what makes Cowboy even worse for me is that I don't think he's dumb. I think he's a follower. And I think it goes, I'm a follower over everything else. I'm a loyal soldier, king. And whoever he's around, he will be that loyal soldier before he is an independent person and does his own thing. In my opinion, Cowboy would be a good player if he was independent. He is so underneath everybody who's around him, whether it's Drew, whether it could be anybody. Will could probably pick him up and move him around. He gives Ian Terry. If you're solo dolo, you could be something. But when you're being ran by Dan and ran by Nicole Frenzel, you're just nothing. It's like nothing there. And I feel like that's what I get for him. Like, he could be smart. He is smart. It's just he's dumb. Because why? You're not smart if you want to be up under somebody, especially a dumbass.
Three votes at the end.
Three? It was 4-3? Bye. How you make a grown woman go cry? Please. Will.
Damn, he has win equity on him? Because I'm gonna have to give him a higher score. Not knowing that information now, because that's not evident.
But I think we'll start to hear those rumblings when we get the jury information, to be honest.
That pisses me off. But now I'm gonna have to end them off with a 5. Yeah. He ain't getting higher than a 5.
Yeah.
He ain't getting higher than a 5 for me. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Because if he were to win, it's given. That's shocking though. I thought Drew would be so loved. Maybe they realized that he used the fuck out of them, like rag.
Maybe it was a little bitter. Maybe it was a little.
I'm excited now. Drew is interesting. Drew is very interesting. I thought he won unanimously type shit.
I think people might see him more similarly to Cowboy than different. I think it's hard to differentiate them. They kind of both seem a little bit subservient, I feel, in some people's eyes. I can see how some people could think that. Like, they both seem like little sub bitches. But what you think of Will?
Will, I'm so sad that I brought him down. You were spot on with him last week. I just feel like he is a really intellectual person. He's an active player. Like, I love that he's playing this thing up with Jase. He's secretly trying to push Adria on the girls, and it's working. He was trying to push Marvin, and that was almost working. You know, he really has these agendas that he's trying to push, and it's actually sitting with people. Like, the girls all trust him with their life. They love Will. The boys are iffy on him, but even they do not want to take him out there. Feel like someone they feel like he's someone they can bring to their side, and that's really good because that is the spot he wielded himself into. I just love how he really understands the game he's playing. Like, the game that Will is playing and understanding feels like a modern day game. He truly understood how this game works, and it's a beauty to watch. It does slightly remind me of someone like a Danielle Reyes. He just needs his actual Jason. He doesn't have a Jason, and I think that is probably what fucks him up at the end of the day, because he doesn't really have someone up to his level. Karen is not there, and there's no shade to Karen, but she is not there, and I think that's his one blind spot in this damn game. Drew is also another blind spot. He needs to be focused on Drew. I don't love that he's more worried about other people, who I think is not a big deal for him as of now, you know? So we'll just see where that goes. Especially, I would love to see the development in how Adria finds out that he's someone that she needs to go after, because is that because she clocked him just by clocking naturally, or did someone tell her?
Exactly.
So that also made me think differently about his game. So we'll see, but I love everything he has going. He's juggling a lot, but he ain't dropping his balls. So I'm gonna give him the 7.
Yep, I agree with the 7. This nigga is playing. He's not a nigga. He's playing very, very interestingly. Like you said, we made fun of him for the Danielle comparisons, but it is comparable to Danielle. He is the most strategic person in this house. He is the most strategic person in this game. He is doing so many things super intentionally. He has the final 2 with Karen that he's using. He's building the final 2 with Jase that he's using on the other side. I think you're right about him not having a Jason, and I think his issue is that instead of trying to build with Jase, he should be trying to build with Drew. I think that's what he should have done, and he probably could have won this game, honestly. I think he because he's been working on Jase for weeks, honestly, and this entire time
Drew.
He does. He should have been investing in Drew, because he sees Drew as he's not. This is the issue. Drew, and honestly, even Jason it's not easy to understand that they're capable of thinking at that level. And I think that's why Drew gets 4 votes and Cowboy gets 3. I genuinely think people perceive Drew. It's like the Tyler thing. It's like Tyler. It's like him. It's like Matt. People perceive them the way that they're outwardly showing their perception. Drew is coming across as this boy next door who doesn't know shit on purpose, and people are perceiving him that way. So when you get to the end, it's like, Drew, you didn't do shit either. King, you didn't do shit either. And I think that's how Will is perceiving him, and that's wrong. That's the wrong perception. Drew is actually extremely smart. He knows what he's doing. And I know some of the girls think he's using Diane, but clearly you don't think it enough because you don't see him as a viable contender. It's like, I think Drew's gameplay, and this is why this gameplay works so well, this little white boy who's pretending, it's because it's so difficult to see past this persona, because people, even though people know he's using Diane, they still think he's dumb and they still think he's worthless and they still don't think he's a threat. And it's like, why not? Why not? Why not? You know he's using Diane, but yes, love Will's position, love everything he's doing. He has the Girls Alliance, he has Karen, he has Jase. He's surrounded. He's good on every end, and it's because he actively worked to do that, and he's building up Adria as the next target, or even Marvin, and I think those are great next targets for him, especially if he can get it done. So doing really, really well. And then we have Drew last. Now, love Drew. I love Drew. He's very smart, very intelligent, very good at this game. He was trying to push his agendas with Diane, and I think it will eventually work. It didn't necessarily work this week because he wanted Marvin to go over Jase. And that's my issue with Drew this week is Scott going home, Marvin over Scott. Scott going home, not the best thing for Drew in my opinion. He had these buffers. These buffers is finna be gone. I think his game is so good regardless that he will still be safe. But to be honest, there's no layer of protection anymore. He's losing his layer of protection, and there kind of isn't anything. If someone decides to target him, he can be targeted. There is no buffer preventing him from going home after Jase and Scott go. And I think that's what scares me. It's kind of like when I'm looking at everyone else in the house, I'm like, nigga, you don't have ties to Nakomis. You don't have ties to Adria and Natalie. You don't have ties to Karen and Will. Like, you don't have ties. All you have is Diane and Cowboy and Jase moving forward. And it just feels too out in the open. He doesn't feel like he has a structure. And I feel like I prefer him to have a structure around him to where I know he's safe in this type of environment. It's like, it's a group, and they value you, but they value you as he'll come with us. He's a number. You're not in the structure. You're not at the top of that group. You're not leading this group. And that scares me. So I think I'm gonna keep him at the 7. I think his game is still good. I'm just afraid of him being exposed in this way.
I see what you're saying, but I don't think that's really an issue for him because even though this group is here, this group does not like each other. And after Jase leaves, they have to start going after each other. I don't think he needs buffers. I think that entire group is a buffer because no matter how it goes, if they start going back to back, they're not going to touch him. If Marvin or Cowboy win, they're not going to touch him. If he wins, he could do whatever, and they may not be mad at him. So I don't even think he needs the buffer. Like the way these people are so attached to him, it seems like he doesn't have a connection with Adria, Natalie, and Nakomis, but they still will not touch him. Nakomis, when she's talking about her plan, she nonchalantly said Drew is with them. They don't see him as a problem. I can see if there was some issue where it turns around to, well, now we're against Drew and Diane, the showman's in the house. Diane would probably go before him. It's actually that crazy. Now, like you said, if someone was smart enough to actually clock that he needed to be targeted, possibly, but would the votes even be there? Like, he can get nominated, but where are the votes coming from? Because I can easily see them make up some reason as to why whoever's sitting next to him is more dangerous. They already think Marvin is hella dangerous. I can see them coming up with Cowboy all of a sudden is a genius because they don't want Drew to go home. So I do think that he's still heavily protected. I'm going to go with 7.5. I agree with a lot of things you're saying. I just don't think that's relevant to this cast at all. I don't. Yeah. Look at the number. It goes back to look at the ratings of everyone else.
Exactly.
What the thing that you're saying is for a cast that's better than this. And
I do agree with that.
4 levels would be able to clock Drew a little bit more than this. You know what I mean?
I do agree with that.
At all.
I do agree with that. I hate a nigga with nothing. He has no structure. It's just him, and I don't like that for anybody. Period.
I agree.
So, but yeah,
because it's risky.
He's still doing
it. It's risky, you know. And I can't. The thing about me is that the positive stuff I'm saying, I can't really fully separate it from the fact that I know he wins, and now I'm kind of seeing how he gets there.
Yeah.
But it's like things make sense even now, though. Like the way this group has so much tension, it's still, to me, I'm rating it in real time. I'm like, who gonna touch him for real? Because every time I read the feeds, no one is talking about Drew negatively. There's not one person in this cast that has talked about Drew on the level of I don't like him or I want him out. It may have been like Jason Scott saying he has no balls when he put up Holly, but they didn't even go nowhere because by the end of it, they all agreed to take out Holly. This man is terrifying.
Period. We have them in order, girl. Jase and Marvin still at the bottom. You know what's funny? Adria and Diane. Adria and Diane keep flipping positions. Because 1 week we'll have Adria near the top, and the other week we'll have Diane near the top. Child, Adria down here in the bottom this time, child. Cowboy, who? Karen, who? No shade. And then the top 4, we got Diane and Nakomis tied for 3rd. Will at 2nd, and Drew is our number 1 spot still, honey, to this day, honey.
It ain't changing. That shit is not changing. I can't see any way that changes. No one in this house. Because I can see how Will is probably more strategic than Drew, but Drew is a very well-rounded player. No one is as well-rounded as him in this cast.
100%. Honestly, like the only week that it would have changed would have been this week. This would have been the only week that I feel like Will specifically could have been above Drew. That's it. After this week, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen. He's just going to be at the top. Period. And that's just that. And that's just that on that.
Total Drama Simmer says, why do people call Diane the best player of the season? I'm assuming they didn't get to see feeds.
Well, no, even if they didn't see feeds, I don't know why you would say that when Drew took her out at Final 3. No shade, but I think it's because Drew's perception. I think Drew is not seen as a player at all. He's seen as, oh, he's just a valley boy next door. No one knows how smart Drew is, and I think by default they go to Diane, especially because Will gets out so early. So it's like eventually Diane will probably be top 2 on this rating. It's just right now she's not, and I think when we get there, that's that memory that people have is. When Diane is the one who's at top 2 seat, when it's her and Drew, I think people are remember, oh, Diane is eating this up. She has her girls. Because, like I said, Drew is vulnerable. Whenever we get down to that end game, Diane will have the upper hand over Drew the entire time. So I can see why watching it, you're thinking Diane is the better player because she's going to have the girls. Drew doesn't have the girls. Diane will have the girls and she'll have Drew. So in reality, Diane will be in the best position. And it's like,
So sorry.
No, go.
I was gonna say if you're watching the edited show, like so far they have not shown y'all on the edited show how disliked Diane truly was by a lot of the people in the game. So I can see how even in the end game on the episode it looks like she has the girls and she has Drew, but I can see how reading them feeds, none of them girls even like.
Might not give that, exactly.
You know, exactly. Like, especially in that end game when she chooses to go against the girls and chooses to go to the end with the boys. It's like at that point it comes down to competitions and, girl, are you dumb? Like.
I will say I can see how like around top 6, feeling like Diane is playing the best game, for that one round because I kind of think when it's down to Nakomis and Adria, they've never really they don't love Diane, but they've never really hated Diane the way everyone else does. Like basically, once Will goes, I can see the girls genuinely leaning on Diane, and I can see Drew genuinely leaning on Diane. So I'm kind of interested in that area of the game.
Does she win if she makes Final 2, regardless?
I don't know. That's because she has all her girls and her gays in the jury. So I'm like, maybe so. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what we will rate her, because if we're getting jury segments and they're all voting Diane, and we see that Diane is working with Karen and Nakomis and Drew and Cowboy, that 1 week, I might be like, wait, Diane's at the highest motherfucking rating at this week because her position is going to be phenomenal. So that'll be very interesting. That's a good question, to be honest.
It's such a campy, cunty alliance as good as this one allowed the Cowboy and Drew to get to the end.
Oh,
Drew make a little bit of sense. You know, a DL trade gonna trick some women.
A DL trade makes sense. He won the gays.
But
Cowboy, he almost won, girl.
We can call him DL trade. No, that man, I guess.
That's okay.
At this point, it's a hilarious joke.
He's been hearing it. Oh, y'all, I have a theory that rumors started to spread because on the feeds, Diane has made slick comments about Drew being a little fruity. There's a lot of fruity shit that goes on with Scott and Jason. Them. I hate you. There's a lot of fruity shit going on, and Will made the comment that all of a sudden Drew has stopped talking to him, and he feels like that was weird. My theory is, did Drew pick up on this weird gay DL allegations? I don't know. did the producers drop a little question about Will? And Drew was like, hold on now. Let me leave this gay man alone. Child.
Don't put that shit on me, nigga.
Anyways, make sure y'all get into the motherfucking tease of it all. Of course, next week we will be doing weeks 5 and weeks 6. So if you want to join us, make sure you watch episodes 14, 15, and 16 by next Tuesday, and episodes 17, 18, and 19 by next Thursday, baby, because we will continue to get into the motherfucking tease of it all. Okay, baby. Okay, baby. Also, get into the other shit because the Big Brother season is coming very soon. We're zooming through June, baby. We have what? 2 more weeks until we're in July and Big Brother is here, baby. So get into it, baby. We have our off-season content every Monday. We've already posted our rankings. We've already posted our tier rankings of whatever the fuck that was. So get into our tier rank or whatever of the new era players. So get into that and get into the rest of our off-season content coming up soon. Also get into our Love Island content, baby, because Love Island is in full motherfucking force. Every Wednesday and every Sunday, we will be covering that. And of course, every Saturday, we're still doing RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10. So get into that as well, baby. If you have not voted, make sure you put in your votes for our motherfucking next motherfucking reality rewind series. The link is in the description, baby. And here's the motherfucking shows. I said it 50 million times. Y'all better know. Oh, child. Alessandra asked, Pharaoh, where is May wrapped? It's coming.
Is it? Because you stopped. It's
gonna get come.
Putting the Scripted Kingdom up as a suggestion.
Yeah, I don't got my images right. It's gonna come. May Wrapped is gonna come. And the movies for the Scripted Kingdom girlies, the movies are finna start getting real hot and heavy because next month we got 2 superhero movies coming out, baby. The end of this month we got a lot of good movies coming out, baby. The later in the year, the more heavy the movies get. So, baby, it's finna start coming real bad. I'm finna get on my Zoom.
Zoom.
I'm finna get on my Zoom. Did you watch Straw? The movie with Taraji P?
That's the name of it?
Yes, the movie.
You should review that
Tyler Perry movie. I wanted to watch it, but I think I got spoiled on the ending. But I still should watch it. But anyways, thank y'all for keeping it real with the Kingdom, baby. We're out.
Bye.